Hey everyone, welcome to Got Something For Ya. Today, Ollie and I are talking about episode 11. I had to look at my notes real quick of Survivor 48. Hello to Roy in the chat. Roy, we were trying to figure out what you mean by this. Are you joking about season 47?
I'm trying to think if he's still on this. Like, it's just with what's been happening this season, I feel like he's just going to, you know what, I'm going for season 47.
Honestly,
that's what's happening.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And hey, Amy, good to see you in the chat as well. Fun day today. Besides this, I'm working my way through your interview. Oh, yes. Yeah. You're checking out our interview with Miles for Australia, Brains versus Bronze 2. Thank you for watching that. We had such a fantastic time talking to him. So really great discussion there. And Phil cannot make it today. He sends his apologies. He did have a prior commitment, but we're going to have fun regardless. And, you know, we'll make sure to hear his thoughts next week. I was sad to miss last week. I know I chimed in the chat a little bit because I had some free time between things to make fun of Ollie. So, Ollie, is there anything you want to get off your chest?
Nah. But at least Phil is not here, so you can't agree with him.
Well, that's unfortunate for Zans. I feel bad for Zans. Zans is going to peace out soon. So we better get on going. Say it all. Dang it, Zans. Brutal. Okay, so here's the thing. We're called Got Something For Ya, but today we got betrayal for you. Got fun betrayal for you. We got fun betrayal for you.
Oh, that was funny.
Oh, so here's the thing also. I told this to Ollie, but I'm going to tell you all in the live chat too. So I watched this episode with Kyle and Eva. So that was a really fun experience. So we got, I got some more insight on the challenge and everything like that. So lots to talk about, lots to discuss there. But we're going to talk about the immunity challenge and all of that. Really, Ollie, I don't know about you. This episode, it feels a little pointless to me.
I mean, yeah. I there were some bits. There were some bits I liked. Some. And then there were some bits that it was like, okay, in the words of Say, that could have been an email, that could have been a post-it note. But yeah, it's just sad because we start off with like this scene where it's like, oh, okay, there's something and there's a chance, but we all know what's coming.
Well, they spend a lot of time on the will a flip happen plan in the edit. That makes sense. They're supposed to do that. You're right. When, there's a group. But I think the thing that just makes it so unsatisfying is that there's not even an attempt on something. So it's not like something didn't work. It's just that at the end, there was a decision made by the people who could have made the choice not to do it. This is the chicken and waffles chant. I know. I wish I could have had that discussion with all of you. I know Phil loved it. Ollie, I know you hated it. I'm somewhere in the middle.
It was not for me.
I know the poll said do it for the royalties, and I would have done it for the
royalties.
Yeah. All right. Fair. So, like, what is there to talk about? We see Mary try a lot of really great pitches, I thought.
Yeah.
In terms of trying to stay there. She left no stone unturned.
Yeah, I agree. And I think actually the way she pitched this, because I was having to rewatch the episode today to get the deck ready. And actually how she pitched this, I thought was really, really good because she literally said, like, use me. Guess what? You've got like two people over here who are like loyal to a fault to each other in their alliance. So guess who they're going to target? Me. They're going to target me over everyone else. So use me as like the pawn, and if your thing doesn't work out, I still go home, so it doesn't affect you. Like that, I thought was so smart because she kind of recognized, like, look, I'm on the bottom. Like I have the biggest chance going home, so I don't mind like being the pawn or being like the casualty to whatever you need to do because that was going to happen anyway. Like I'm not oblivious, which we've seen before. Some people were like, no, there's still a chance. Like I can come back from this. Like, I'm not going to be the port. Like, I'm not going to be the vote next. And it's like,
yeah, she's basically saying it'll always be me before you. So why get rid of me now? Roy, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, that saying. I love this so much because I feel similarly. You know, I was thinking about this season altogether. Roy says, "I love a strong alliance sticking together when I like that alliance and hate it when I don't." This season, I'm just not drawn to any specific person. I think that's a very valid and fair point. There are, and I think what you're also saying, well, I think holds true. Like there were some people in the cast that the storylines that I was most interested in are no longer in the game, let's say. But if this was another season, I would be saying I could be saying the exact opposite about a similar majority alliance that just so happens to be players that I'm more interested in seeing the game. So it's not a bad thing that they're sticking together by any means. And I'm sure that there are many people out there that are really invested in this group as like I
Yeah.
in a different group. So, it's just a roll of the dice.
Yeah, precisely.
And then Mitch.
Because Mitch now all of a sudden sees the writing on the wall.
But you were saying he had so many options.
I know. This is the thing. Like, he had options. Like when I said last episode he had options, it's in the sense of like he had people coming to him. Like he had people wanting him in his corner. Like there were people that wanted him in his corner because they just needed him to be like number Mitch, like
Number.
minion. Yeah, they just needed him to be a number. I'm just gonna call it how it is, Joe and Eva. Whereas you had other people that were trying to actually like garner something and do something that benefits him. So this episode, it was just frustrating in the sense of like he sits there and he goes, "Oh, I can't trust Mary and Star. I can't trust Mary and Star." And all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I see the writing on the wall. Well, I have to trust Mary." And it's like, what happened in like 2 hours? Like what happened in the space of 12 hours? Like you still voted against her just now. Like that's where the game frustration comes from, if that makes sense.
I need to move on. I have so many thoughts. I want to say this. I love Mitch as a person.
Yes.
I've gotten to meet him a
Same.
bunch of times. I can't wait to keep meeting him. I was really disappointed last week. That's not the reason why I missed the episode. I did have a prior commitment. But that's why I was so sad I couldn't talk to all of you about it. Because I had a lot of feelings about that Star vote out. But then this is Kyle, Joe, Shaheen on the log.
Yeah, this is where kind of Joe is sat there and kind of just being like, this is what I'd want my kids to do. Like, he keeps going on about how he wants the strongest competitors. He wants to go against the best of the best. And I think hearing that constantly now is I'm sat here. The more I watch the episodes, the more I realize Joe is not winning this game, in my opinion. And I feel like this was another scene where we see that they're wanting to stick together, and I think we also see Kyle having a kind of I want to stay strong to this, but I also understand Joe is like a really big threat. But yeah, it was just how Joe was explaining it. I could just see from a game aspect, again, I say this sitting on the couch, never played Survivor in my life, like I could see that going against him with a jury. With this jury, I don't know though. That's the what if.
Remember last week you were saying you felt it was like a decline episode for Joe? I feel like this week continued that trajectory a little bit, a lot of it. Especially, you know what? This didn't really raise red flags for me, I would say, this scene, but it was towards the end of the episode when he's told he's being voted for that I was like, here we go. So then Kyle is saying to Mary, like, all right, maybe we're gonna do something. Maybe it's time to flip the script. Maybe they're talking about Joe here.
Yeah, they're talking about Joe, and I don't necessarily think that Kyle was like acknowledging it. I don't know if he was fully committing to it, because I think we'll see in the next scene Mary's reaction. But I think he was kind of like saying to Mary, like, it was good and bad in my opinion. Like the good side was he was being very upfront with Mary, and he wasn't like trying to BS her, which I think can be really respectful. But I also think it's that case of like, it's the timing and like saying that strong, like with that particular alliance, is that going to benefit Kyle? And that's where I'm unsure of it. But yeah, I had mixed feelings about the conversation. I don't know. What did you think?
Not much. I think there was a part of me that always thought that Mary was going this episode, unfortunately. Especially, we'll talk about it as we get closer to the end of the episode, but I thought the editing of the pre-tribal council strategy going into tribal council was odd. Like I felt like we'll talk about it when we get there. I like what Amy said here. Kyle and Shaheen should realize that Joe is always going to pick Eva over them. I wish I asked this. No, I wouldn't have been able to ask that question, but it's a great point, in terms of like, we've seen Joe and Eva's relationship. It's been very apparent.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're thinking in terms of what happens when the numbers boil down even more.
Yeah.
So then we have the coconut etiquette.
Oh my god.
Coconut.
I found this so funny.
I loved it because Mary hasn't been on reward. And then like,
well, she
what?
She has. I'm trying to remember what it's.
Okay.
Whatever.
But recently?
Not recently. No,
Okay.
I think it was final 10. I want to say.
Well, I liked this sequence because it looked very satisfying, just to see her like do it, get that anger out, just whatever. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny, and just like it was like it was the humor, like the Survivor humor that we all love. Like she's just chopping this, like she is hatcheting away at this coconut. This poor coconut has done nothing to her, but she is pretending it is like half of their heads. And it was so funny to me.
It was not funny though to Eva. And not just Eva was the one who sort of narrated it, but it seemed like a couple of people were voicing their dislike of getting rid of the coconuts.
Yeah, well, obviously, because we had Eva and Camilla, and I'll talk about Camilla first because Camilla was there going like, no one's gonna like. Camilla was doing it from a really good game aspect, being like, no one's gonna want to keep her because of X, Y, and Z. Like, this is like, we want to target these people, but Mary doing this is gonna cause more friction between like people like me, people like Kyle, people like that. I understood. I didn't understand Eva's point of view only because she's been on the last 3 rewards. She was on last episode, final 9, and final 10. Like she's been on 3 rewards. So like and Mary, like I understood Mary completely. She hadn't been on an award since final 10. Like she was starving. Like categorically, everyone else around that point except for Star had been on a reward, so they'd been able to like feed themselves, like get some nutrients. Like it had been however many days for Mary at that point. Like whereas Eva has had some sort of sustenance, like more than just like coconuts and fruit and stuff, consecutively, like 3 times in a row. We're not like, I'm not just talking about this episode as well, like 3 times previously. So I was kind of sat there being like, babe. And I understand again, it's a game. I'm on my couch watching an edited version of the show, but
you were really upset about this coconut stuff.
I was really upset about it. Like, you've been on 3 rewards, girl.
No,
come on.
My thing was, I can understand if that truly was their, if there truly was their last coconut, and Mary was just sort of just this chopping open this coconut, chopping open that coconut. Like I can understand that situation.
Yeah.
But if it was like 1 or 2, and maybe like you said, Ollie, maybe my mind would change if it was, if I was there and I experienced it. But whatever. But then we get a really great confessional from Kyle, and this was when he was talking about sort of having to choose between Camilla and Joe.
Yeah, this was
Yeah, Amy. Mary was Ollie's first draft pick, so how dare they?
Exactly. I'm always going to defend Mary to the bitter end. We know this. Mary knows this. Yeah, this was where obviously Kyle was seeing the fact that it's going to come to a point where he can't protect everyone. And I don't want to say like he no longer can have his hands in all the cookie jars, because I don't think that's the case. Like, I think he is actually very empathetic to it. But I think this is where for Kyle, like he said, he has been playing the middle so well this entire game. But now it's got to a point where he does have to show his hand. And I think what's scary is whatever side he goes with, he's worried about the repercussions. I think more so he's worried about the repercussions against honor and integrity. Because I think when you look at both sides, I think regardless, if Kyle was if Kyle was to either side say, look, I'm going this side, I'm voting for you. I think if he was to do that with like Camilla and Mitch and that side, I think they would understand it in a way because of like what they've built and stuff. I don't necessarily feel like Joe and Eva would, because of this is where I think honor and integrity gets very messy, because then it's almost like this whole thing of, no, you have to honor us the entire way. But if going this way is better for Kyle, that's what he's got to do. And I think that's where it could get messy for him. I don't know. Sorry, I just went on a right rant.
I'm not going to lie. I was with you at the beginning. I got lost a little bit in the middle.
Yeah.
And then we're good.
So we've got Roy's question.
Thank you, Roy. Is Kyle's indecisiveness based on emotion or strategy? I think he knows the strategy. I think he knows the strategy, but I do think that indecisiveness comes from the emotion. And that's something we hear from a ton of players. And I could be wrong here, but something that I did find interesting was when we were speaking to Kyle, when we were watching the episode, he mentioned where he was like, I just thought I was going to play the game differently. He was like, what I see on TV is not like I'm trying to figure out how he said it, but he was like, I don't recognize how I'm playing this game, which I thought was interesting. In terms of just like how he changed in this very, very unique setting, right? Specific. Yeah. That's the word I was looking for. Specific setting. So, also, was this the moment where he acknowledged or he revealed?
No, not yet.
Okay, nice. Okay, but that's coming up. So I like Kyle a lot. I would. I want him to win. Him or Camilla. I'd really want either of them to win at this point. Let's move on to no, Xance. It's okay. We're all over the place.
Yeah. Trust me, you've seen us both.
Yeah, okay. So we go fishing.
Yeah.
Was there anything more to this?
No, but what I found interesting about this scene, and I kind of wanted to make a note of it, was because we saw obviously Mitch, Shaheen, and Kyle go swimming and fishing, and it was quite a nice moment. And I don't know why it gave me like, is this kind of like a little foreshadowing, or is this a red herring? Because like, why include it? Because like each of them got a confessional like about it and being like, oh yeah, with the I think it was like Mitch went, oh yeah, with the boys. So I don't know whether this is like foreshadowing for potential final three, or if it is just a massive red herring, and I've overthought it completely, but could be wrong.
For me, it's like it could be foreshadowing, or it could just be like they got in the water. Let's film them. You know, like we need some footage of them in the water, because I don't know.
Yeah, that makes it, because we haven't really. I mean, yeah, Amy.
Amy.
I haven't seen it. I've not seen a lot of fishing. Like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and Kyle caught one.
Yeah, Kyle caught one.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing that he catches it and catches the win. Sorry.
Foreshadowing. All right. So next we have the start of a very irritating sequence.
You thought I was mad earlier? Oh my god.
So the boat arrives at camp and they're told they have to pick someone to go on the journey. And then if they can't decide, they have to draw rocks. We all knew that they were going to draw rocks.
We all know.
Yeah. And guess who gets the purple rock? Eva. Which, you know,
good for her for having that luck. I will give her flowers that she has had some really decent luck this season.
Right. Like, and it's we're just talking from a television viewer perspective, especially because of what the advantage turns out to be. It's like, this was a waste of time.
I bet you the producers were sat there going, for God's sake, really? She is the last one to pick and you leave the purple one in there for her.
Yeah. Roy has a good point. They could have easily edited out the journey of this. Maybe they didn't have a lot of time to like fill it with other stuff, but like this was so weird because she goes on the journey and the thing is knowledge is power. She's able to win a knowledge is power. But here's the thing. She has all the knowledge because she has all of the power.
She has all the power, so like she didn't like.
So this was the way they also, I think, approached her confessional after she did this was so funny to me because you can tell that they were trying to, as much as they can, try to give it some sort of strategy as to why she might want to go for the knowledge is power. And really what it boils down to is the only reason she would go for it is because you know, more advantages, you know, and still having that reputation. So, you know, she does the thing where I actually like the challenge. I thought this was fun.
I thought the challenge was fun. Yeah. Like I did see the challenge and I was like, this is cute. Like I'd love to do this.
I think it would make a wonderful challenge in the right setting. So she had to get 4 levels, and then if she went to 8, she would earn her vote back at 4 levels, and then if she would get to 8, she would get the advantage. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Yeah, like I liked the fact it was like, obviously you have to get your vote back at this level, and then you can get the advantage at this level. Unfortunately, let's be fair, she only needed to get to 4.
She only needed to get to 4, which might be why they kept it in the episode, because at least there was still that question of will Eva have the vote or not?
Yeah, because I think, well, what we saw there as well was there was a like a little glimpse of her getting a little greedy in the sense of like, yeah, let me just get the knowledge is power. I'm glad she did go, because I think if she did go for it, it wouldn't have benefited her. I think it would have hurt her with this particular cast.
If she went for
and got the knowledge is power.
Oh yeah, she did.
Because if imagine, like, hypothetically speaking, she gets to the end and she goes, I got this knowledge is power on that journey, and like they would sit there, like there would be no way of her explaining that to a jury and not some of those jury members going, there was no, like it would rub them the wrong way socially. So I'm glad she stopped when she did.
There's some great comments in the chat also that we got to get to. Amy says maybe they're showing all of her good fortune the entire game and then she doesn't win in spite of all the advantages. I feel like we saw something, not in terms of how many advantages this person had, but was it Xander in 41 who made it to the end with an idol and no one cared?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then let me see. Zan says, reminds me of the one where they stack with, you know what's funny? I was thinking of this one where they stack with their feet. And then I was also thinking of the card game that they played last season where they all took turns stacking it and whoever it fell lost their vote. And then we have to talk about the hourglass. So there's this thing, unless Ollie, does it show up later?
No.
Okay. There's this thing where at the end of this sequence, Eva kicks the tower down on her way out, but the hourglass there's still a little bit in the timer. Now, the rules did say that the tower has to stay up until the hourglass is down.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, that's the rules. That's what that was shown on the television. So like it is but I do think that production like called it and maybe just no one reset the hourglass. I think that's probably what happened. I think that there is I think they give her the okay to leave. You know what I mean? So it is. I think that was a production error, but they said it, and they said it, and we saw it. So I don't know. All right, so I don't see anyone getting to. Oh yeah. Roy says I don't see anyone getting to 8 on this. Yeah, that seems real intense. Especially because if it falls, you lose your vote, and I wouldn't want to risk that. So here we go. So she comes back and she tells everyone, and Joe's like, "It's great. She's being honest."
Yeah, I understood like because it was Joe's confessional being like, she was right, and no one could tell her she wasn't, which I think fair enough. That is a very valid point. I think it was how she maybe said it, in the sense of like she was very like, you guys needed this because you would have screwed me over. I was like, a fair point, very valid point. But I'd sit there and I just know, we all know me. I'm a sassy little. So if I was like Mary or Camilla and Eva was saying this to me, they'd probably be cutting to a confessional of me going, about Eva. I just been
funny. I wasn't mad at this. I was like, she's right.
Yeah, you know, this is the thing. Like, she's right. She's absolutely right. I'm not even gonna deny she's right.
It's not like a situation. It's not like a situation where she like doesn't have any advantages, and she was like, "Oh, you guys were going to try to use this against me if you got it," but no, she has everything. So, but yeah, no, honestly, Zans, Mary, or the bot, like you can tell a lot with Mary and her body language. So yeah, then we go to. What was this conversation, Mary and Shaheen?
This was because obviously Mary was annoyed, rightfully so. So she was once again pitching going for Joe and Eva with Shaheen, and this is where we actually I saw Shaheen be really receptive to it. I think when you compare Kyle, like how Kyle's conversation with Mary went and how Shaheen's conversation with Mary went. And again, this is also to do with confessionals that Mary doesn't see that we see. I think we saw more give from or consideration from Shaheen. That's why I wanted to include this, because I think we did see Shaheen kind of go, right, let's play this out in my head. Like, this is a really, like, this could be a smart option to do. So that's why I kind of wanted to include it anyway, because it was, once again, Mary pitching and doing whatever she can, because that's all she could do this episode.
Oh, okay. I thought you were giving Shaheen the credit for almost being on board for it. I was like, it's so hard to talk about these moments because it doesn't happen. So it's just kind of like, good on you for trying, or like the like, okay, they almost did it. You know, it's just weird. But then we get the immunity challenge. I agree with this, Sans. Shaheen showing the only possible jury management success we have seen.
Yeah.
What's a question? Yeah. Yes, I would say so. But then I feel like Camilla's also up there.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Camilla doesn't have to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I think Shaheen is showing you some good strategy there. Oh, did you put that up? Sorry, I missed it.
No.
Beat Joe. Shaheen does not. Kyle thinks that he can beat Joe. Shaheen does not. Yeah, I think that comes up into play again. We get this immunity challenge, and this was very sad to watch because Mary pulls ahead a little bit. But then this was such a weird immunity challenge. I love that they brought it back because it was hilarious. But I think the fact that so many people were so close, Kyle getting the word and saying it out loud so many times.
And having that R and the G just, I felt so bad.
It was unforgettable.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier in fun betrayal. Fun, what?
Got fun betrayal.
Got fun betrayal. Got fun betrayal.
Is that going to be our new?
Should we change the title of our podcast?
Got something for you. Got fun betrayal.
Got fun betrayal. Let us know in the comments if you want us to do that. So. It comes. I really like how it ended, though. That was exciting because at first Jeff Probst is like, Joe is. Oh nope, I'm wrong. He's wrong. Nope. It's Camilla. And I'm really happy for Camilla.
I was so happy for Camilla because I'm so sorry, Camilla, if you watch this and see this screen.
Oh, it's
Included.
emotion. You know, you gotta see emotion.
But I really loved it because again, it's like we've seen constantly the big strong people like win the immunities, and it's always been them, and it's like we're the only ones. It's the mentality has been, oh, we're going to dominate all the challenges. So to see Camilla, who didn't feel like she was a physical player, didn't feel like she was ever going to win something, win the immunity challenge, it was just a nice breath of fresh air, number one. And it was just nice to see that representation and to remind everyone that anyone can win immunity. These challenges are not built for a certain archetype. Like these aren't built for a certain type of player. Like anyone can win an immunity challenge. So I was very happy for Camilla and also for my draft. So
I think it was like the most exciting part of the episode because it really was a nail biter. It was so unexpected.
Yeah.
If that one piece from Joe, I probably would not have made a difference at tribal council, but you know, like it would have made a difference in terms of everyone's stats. So you know, this was cool. Then we just have she gets a reward. She gets a reward, and I like how she said, I don't even know who to pick because I never thought I would even be in that position. So,
and she picks Mitch and oh look, Eva for the 4th reward in a row.
Mary's back at camp, just finding all the coconuts and saying, mine.
I will say though, I did like Camilla's reasoning. Again, this is why I think I really am hoping something pulls through for Camilla, because she picked obviously Eva because of the fact that she wanted to keep Joe and Eva comfortable. She didn't want them thinking anything different. So I thought that was a really smart kind of subtle move that I just wanted to quickly acknowledge. And there was chocolate cake.
I thought they were going to make them do that disgusting thing where they had like 40 seconds to eat the cake with their hands. Oh my,
nope.
I never want to see that again.
No, don't need that.
That to me is like worse than like eating grubs or something.
Excuse me?
Jesus Christ. Okay. So, Roy, interesting. I'm wondering why you feel that way. I feel like Camilla would be a very deserving winner of the season. Is there anyone else on here that you feel like is, Ollie, are you a more deserving winner?
No, I just meant I agree that Camilla is a deserving winner. Sorry.
Yeah, so let us know, Roy. So then we have was this it?
No, this was basically everyone. This was Mary being ignored by the boys.
Was so what I wanted the most, if this was going to be a better episode for me, and I think she tried to do this. Do you remember earlier in the season where she just said, you know what, I'm just going to relax and pretend like everything is okay and throw Cedric and Say off my scent? I think that would have been really cool if we saw that play out again in this similar way. But yeah. I don't know what I got distracted. There's so much happening in the chat.
I know. I think we just took a second to go, what's happening in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I think it was Shaheen that said it very well. He was like, there is the person where basically if you go and chat to her, like eyes can be on you. And I thought that was very telling. I think he said he really explained the dynamics of the tribe without like it being shown, because you think who's there? You've got Mary, Shaheen, Kyle, and Joe. And obviously Shaheen saying like, if anyone goes and speaks to Mary, like eyes are on them and stuff. And what I thought was quite funny was the editing, when he was talking about that, the editing went to Joe. And it was a quick shot of Joe. And then obviously it carries on. And then we hear Mary saying like, oh, no one wants to talk to me. It's very clear. So she goes. And again, they go to Joe first, then Shaheen, then Kyle. And it's Joe that kind of instigates the, where do we know she's gone and all this lot. I'm getting a lot of kind of like, I'm not comparing him to him, but in kind of like, if you take a step back and kind of look at the editing and kind of see how it's going, you do see how much control Joe has in terms of the social dynamics in like, because I feel like if Shaheen hypothetically was to go talk to Mary, I do think Joe would have clocked that and done exactly what Shaheen said. So I do feel like unintentionally Shaheen was talking about Joe. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, went on a right tangent.
I'm sorry, Ollie. I start, I get it, and then you were saying Joe has good social awareness.
No, Joe's controlling.
Oh,
it was giving like buddy system Boston Rob.
Okay, got it. I was
trying to be nice about it.
Yeah, got it. See, that's what happens. I don't know necessarily because I think I don't feel like I've seen him be like, "Don't talk to this person anymore."
Yeah, no, he hasn't.
Yeah. I want to get to some of these chat questions or responses. So Rowan says from Reddit, Mary got 3 food rewards: Merge Feast, PB&J, and tacos. Eva won 4, so it just looks like Eva got more. That's still a considerable amount of food. So that's a point. Is it consecutive, Rowan? Let us know. Also, hi Rowan, thanks for sending that to us. Roy says just rooting for your favorites. Understood. Isabel, nice to see you. Camilla, and so Isabel, I'm assuming this is your who you believe to be the ideal winners for the season. Camilla and Kyle, then Joe. Out of him, Shaheen and Eva. I think Joe should get credit for the strong alliance. I agree with that. I think that Joe could pitch being responsible for the Joe alliance. Thanks, Isabel.
I agree.
Okay. So strong alliance. So let's keep on going. This is the moment.
This is the moment. This is the revelation. Let me go find Zen's Kyle revealing his dark truth. I've got to be real. I didn't realize. I'd forgotten that he'd said he was a teacher.
I forgot about the teacher thing also, because I think one of the last things that he opened up about was his law school experience.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I can't remember, but yeah, when he was like to commit. But this moment gave me hope for the future. Like that sounds so like political. I don't know. There's hope for the future.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Zans. You know what? Me too, Zans. Me too.
I don't. I love you, Phil. Love you. But this gave me hope in the sense of like, because we kind of did see Kyle put his foot down in the sense of like, Camilla has been my ride or die since the start. I'm gonna ride with her. Like that was the energy I was getting. So although this was kind of the setup for like, look, Mary's not making it, because I think it was then a conversation. It was a confessional with Camilla being like, I can't trust Mary at all. But I do think we saw here Kyle go, do you know what? I'm sticking with Camilla. That is who I am going to ride with, because she has been the person that I've been with since day one. And she's been the person I've been the most loyal to. That's what I got from this conversation.
Well,
I
love them. You know, like I think that they've made a really wonderful relationship in the game, and I'm sure out of the game. With this, someone brought up, I was with Tegwith and my friend Ryan, Tegwith's boyfriend. He was talking about it. He was like, it's the secret duo versus the public duo. Joe and Eva versus the secret duo, Kyle and Camilla. And I was like, oh, I like it so much more thinking of it in that way.
Yeah.
So,
which still crazy. Like people haven't clocked, like the fact that people haven't clocked on to Camilla and Kyle being so tight. I think that is more impressive to me personally than Joe and Eva getting far, like being public, if that makes sense, because in this game of where a lot of people this season have tried to make things a lot more public, like they've tried to not be as sneaky and like
it's cool.
Yeah, like
I
I
mean,
really do appreciate it.
At watch parties, some players had, and this is allegedly hinted that their relation, like it seems like their relationship was a little bit more. People like understood it, that there was something there. Allegedly hinted at. I think David caught on to it right before he was booted. So yeah, Zans, Tag, we love Tegwith here. Tegwith, if you don't know, if you don't follow us on Survivor Now podcast Instagram, Tegwith is actually moving on to the Survivor Specialist podcast. So make sure you all go and support her there as well. Isabel says, hot take, but I think this season ends with either Kyle versus Camilla or Eva versus Joe at Fire. I think that's the buildup of the season. I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think that's a great take.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I think it's one of, personally, I think it's more so Eva and Joe. I don't know why. I have this feeling it's Eva and Joe.
That would be really interesting. That would be really interesting. Oh, that would be dramatic.
That'd be so dramatic.
Because we've seen them do challenges together where they're like next to each other and he's kind of coaching her. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be a cool ending. Yeah. All right. So then we have Mary says, Joe, I'm running your name. And
cause the chaos, Mary. Cause the chaos.
Yeah. I don't know if we've necessarily seen Joe this paranoid after this.
Nope.
But yeah, no, it affects him to learn that his name will be written down.
And you know what's so satisfying? Like this, I'm taking a moment to be very vain and very narcissistic. Shocking, I know. On the pre-show, I said, if Mary is going, I hope Mary ruffles Joe's feathers, and that's exactly what she did. And it was just satisfying in the sense of like, you know, when you're thinking like, I just want to see this happen, and it happens, and you're just like, oh, content, like, lovely.
Yeah, you willed it into existence.
Yeah, I was like, yes. So I was very much happy to see it. Because I honestly, I know I've kind of been very critical of Joe and Eva this episode, but I think it's because I think we needed to see it. We needed to see Joe or Eva or both have a little bit of like not their backs against the wall, because regardless, Mary was always going. But we needed to see them sweat a little. So I was happy to see it because I think
we needed to see them face some adversity in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Roy says, if Kyle wins final challenge, I think he sends Camilla to... Really? You think Kyle would send Camilla? All right, you know what, Roy? If that ends up happening, I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does end up happening, I'll give you the full credit for that.
Yeah, I would only say that happens if Camilla asks.
Okay. Yes. I could see. Yeah. All right. So Joe goes, and I like when he was like, all right, we got to put the vote on someone else. And Kyle and Mitch were like, okay, who else?
Who else? Because you ain't going to pick Eva. We're both right here. Is it Shahid? Like, I understood the paranoia, but he went about it completely wrong in the sense of like, why have you gone to all the boys and spoken about this, knowing full well that everyone knows you're never going to put a vote on Eva? Like, that was to me his biggest mistake. Like talking to Mitch, talking to Kyle, talking to Shaheen. But I like, because let's be fair, if he was going to put a vote on anyone, he was going to put a vote on Mitch. Like, but I think Mitch clocked it and called it out straight away. Like, well, so you're going to put a vote on me? Are you going to put a vote on Kyle?
Which and I think the question, Mitch, when did you discover that you're next? You know?
Yeah. That part. Okay. But yeah, it was how he. I understand it talking to these two because they haven't like necessarily had Mitch has. Kyle hasn't had much heat on him in terms of like having a vote on him. But I think it was, we haven't got the photo, but it was Joe's conversation with Shaheen. Because I think
we'll just come to this one.
Yeah, because I think Joe talks to Shaheen and goes, well, I could put a vote on you. you put a vote? First of all, why would you put a vote on someone that you want to go to the Final Four with? But number two, Shaheen explained this so well, and this is why I think this was a really good episode for Shaheen. I think we saw a lot of good moments, but it was when he was talking to Joe, he laid it out flat for him. He's like, I've had my name written down twice, knowing that my name was being written down. Like, why? Like, and I think that he did a really great job at kind of being like, no matter what you say, Joe, I have a rebuttal for this because I've been in the exact same position prior. So if I'm telling you this, it's because you've probably said this to me before or someone else has said this to me. I'm saying exactly what someone else has said to me like 3 rounds ago. So I think Shaheen handled it perfectly. The only thing was I love the fact of all the people he goes and talks to, he talks to Eva.
They tried. I don't even think that they tried that hard to edit this to seem like something was happening. Because so first of all, I want to back up your point about Shaheen. Love what Shaheen said here. I feel like I would be so annoyed if I was in his position and someone like, you know, he's put his game on the line many times for people.
Yeah.
You know, so I think just to hear one person to, say that they're putting a vote on someone, like, I don't know. So
yeah.
The editors do this thing that I've noticed where if a plan, how do I explain this? They like we're setting up that, oh, maybe they're going to start turning on Joe, like maybe their thing. And they cut to the close-ups of Shaheen and the close-ups of Kyle, you know, like the close-up of Mary. You know, they show them like pondering it. But then we go straight to tribal council. So you don't see them talk about, all right, we're doing this. And even if they did, like they would still show like, we need to have this conversation at least. So we didn't go to tribal council with that. So that's right there where I felt like, oh, Mary's in trouble. But you know what I think we should do, Ollie? I think that we should take a very quick break and then we will be right back to talk about tribal council and unfortunately, Mary's exit from the game.
Hi, Survivor Now podcast listeners. I am Katie from KT Designs, better known as Katie Tedesco Art on both Instagram and Etsy. I have been designing and selling Survivor products for over 7 years at my Etsy shop, including replicas like hidden immunity idols and Survivor trading cards with all of the players' stats on the back. I am so grateful for Survivor Now for giving me this shout out and helping me reach even more super fans. I love listening to their podcast. So if you are looking for some really unique reality TV products for yourself or to give a super fan in your life, come check out my Etsy shop at www.etsy.com/shop/KatieTedescoArt.com.
Yeah, Zans, Katie is amazing. Amazing design, so talented, so awesome. So yeah, go check out Katie's Etsy shop, everyone. All right, so tribal council. I will say I liked there are a lot of people were vulnerable here.
Yeah, hold on. I know it's pointless, but jury.
we would have gotten there.
Yeah, I know, but I just wanted to get it out of the way.
You made the order.
I know. But it's because the next slide is back to tribal.
Go ahead, Ollie.
No, I said my piece on the jury.
Okay. Okay. And don't worry, we'll still talk about the jury, everyone. There's a lot to talk about with the jury there. So, tribal council. What I was gonna say is that there was like a really nice, vulnerable conversation. A lot of people were vulnerable here. It was sometimes I will say there are some times where I think that Survivor production and it can sometimes they can linger on stories for a little too long or overstretch. But I think when they do come up and they are, you know, just like you can tell that they're so in the moment about what they're talking about. It's a nice viewer experience and it's great to learn more about these players in that way.
Yeah, I think this was a really nice humor moment because we heard about the whys, like why are people out there? What are they doing this for? Who are they doing this for? And it was just a nice little sweet reminder and a reminder to kind of the viewers that like, look, yes, they're playing for $1 million. Like, yes, they're going to have to backstab and cutthroat and stuff, but there's reasons for it. And there is emotion behind it. So yeah, it was just overall a really nice moment, in my opinion.
So not much else really happens here because it's kind of very Goodbye Mary. You know, they ask some questions or people give some responses that could still be like, oh, is it gonna be Joe? But you know, it's not. And Mary goes. Did you wear green today because of Mary?
Unintentional. I was gonna wear all black, to be honest. I was gonna be like, you know, Annika last year when it was her boot
I was there. So Kara and I were at the watch party. It was the Annika's elimination was the Rob Has a Podcast watch party. And Kara and I were sitting there trying to figure out who is going home that night. And we both saw Annika walk by in all black. And I said, she's in mourning. It's her.
Yeah. I loved it. But yeah, I was going to do that. But yeah, no. Green to show my solidarity. But that wasn't all that happened. And I feel like we have to talk about it.
What? Oh, so, well, is there, while we have the attention on Mary, do you want to say anything about her in her game? Or do you want to do that after?
After.
Okay, because this really
I was so confused. David.
Yeah, everyone who thought he was going to fight someone.
I was so confused. I was like,
I thought he was going to play an advantage.
I've got an advantage from the jury. She's safe. Look, it was a really sweet moment, and I think it was his way of like, because David and Mary had built like a really nice friendship, and like they had worked together quite closely. And it is very clear David was rooting for Mary. I think that's clear as day. So I understood in the sense of like he was standing up in solidarity of his friend, giving her flowers without saying anything, because as a jury, you can't speak or give opinions.
It was very much the ending of Dead Poet Society, if you all know that movie. It was very much that type of energy. And I think,
it was when the heroic music started. Like he got up and then the music changed and it was and I was like, oh my God, this is cinematic. Like,
and I think the fact that also his muscles are just like, I loved it.
You loved looking at his muscles.
Yeah. And when they just cut to him sitting there, I was like, this is great. This is so great. But then, yes. So
I'm sorry. I'm looking at I'm fully looking at the comments. I need to look at the comments here quickly. It was Isabel, your comment. I thought you might rush Joe. Yeah. I thought, like, I mean, we all saw his, we all saw the deathbeds. The one thing I will say about David, which I love watching as a viewer, him as a jury member, he just gives everyone like stank face. So I love it. Roy, I didn't know this. Well, actually, it makes sense now that you've said it. Like, according to, that it would make sense why that is like a jury ruled infraction, because like I said, like we could tell he was trying to show solidarity for Mary, but I think he was also showing the fact that like, oh no, he was rooting for Mary and he's gone 2 seconds. Because guess what, people? I've got one too. I've got a backup. Right, chat. Answer me this. Do we agree with Isabel? Is he a legend for this? Or what was going on? What do we think? What do we think of David doing this? I know. I am flying solo holding the fort. I know, Zen. And no one else can sit here and disagree with my opinions. Chat, we've done it. I get to say all the opinions and they're all right. No, I'm joking. Whilst we wait for Matthew to come back, thank you for joining us. I know you are not fully on board on this season, but I'm glad that you thought this moment was memorable. And then, you think it was 100% legendary. He's back.
Nothing happened.
It's all right. To be fair, you can watch this back and see everything that I was talking. Star Wars laughing at him. It was the jury's reaction, because it was 3 different reactions. You had Star laughing her head off. You had Chrissy confused. Chrissy was like, "What?" And then you just had Cedric. Stoic Cedric. I will give Cedric his praise for being stoic.
You know what? He's doing what the producers want them to do, which is not react at all. So,
well, I don't know if you were here for it, Matthew, but Roy actually put in the chat. Let me find it. Oh, I've lost it. There it is. According this is a jury rule infraction. So, very intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see what happens after this.
Standing? Wow.
Well, I think
I believe it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because he is kind of showing who he was rooting for and giving the people playing the game an idea of where his head was. Because I think you've got to be impartial, act impartial, not look any type of way.
Got it. I was thinking about the jury in Winners at War, where they were all just there, and they were all winners. They didn't give a damn.
They were like, "We've already won. Yeah. We've already been a sole survivor. We're having fun here."
So David, everyone, that David, I love David. So here we go. So Mary is now eliminated. Ollie, I'll let you go last because I know that she was on your draft team. But I really liked. I wanted the storyline with her and Say to keep going, and I think that there was some untapped potential there for that story. And I think that she is incredible. I think her personality was amazing. I think she had great strategy. She knew when to sort of let paranoia get the best of people. I wish that kind of played out better for her here at this moment. Yeah, I really liked Mary, so I'm sad to see her go.
Yeah, we all know I loved Mary. She was literally my first draft pick. I was the first person in our draft. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. She was the first person I picked, obviously because of fashion. Me and her vibe on fashion. But as a game, I loved seeing her resilience because she was playing from the bottom quite a lot. She was always trying to continue going on, and she would always get knocked back. She said it very beautifully in the episode. She lost Stephanie, she lost Kevin, so she had to regroup. She then lost David. She then lost Star, so she had to regroup again. But you also said it best, Matthew. Her just playing on people's paranoia was just so funny to watch. I could easily see Mary come back. I think the producers would be silly to not have her return. I could see her come back on a second chances, or even a heroes versus villains, because she was very villainous. She was so cheeky and sassy. I could see her coming back and just being on a villain tribe and just being so devious and getting away with it. I would love that. But yeah, Mary, I love you. You're one of my faves. And it took final 7 for me to lose a draft pick, which I'm very humbled about. So
ooh, your draft is like mine from Australia, but yours is that's good.
But can I also just on the draft, because this is a fun fact, and I wonder if any of our other podcasters watch, so I can say it. Mary is the only contestant so far this season who, on the bracketology point system, her boot episode, she's the only one to still finish in positive points. Every other person that's left has finished in negative points. Look, she only got 3 points, but she still finished positive, and it meant that.
Wait, you're saying every player before is all negative points
on their boot episodes. So episode Charity left, the episode David left, they finished in negative points for that particular episode. She's the only one to finish in positive points.
So there you go, Mary. I hope that makes this all easier. But Zans, your comment really poked out to me because you said, I don't know, they're going at it hard on social media. Is there division on social media between Say and Mary? Whoa. Yeah. Let us transition this, and then you can explain it all in our next segment, which is Ollie's segment. The tribe has posted. If I can find the video, here it is. Take it away.
This is the tribe has posted for anyone new that doesn't know what's going on. I scour Instagram, X, Blue Sky, TikTok, you name it. I've been there, and I look at everything that's going on in the world of social media, and everything that was going on. I will just talk about Zan's comment first because I don't have it on here because I had sorted everything out kind of social media wise earlier, and then this cropped up, and I was like, I just didn't have time to include it. But basically, it was an interview with Mary. Like, it's just basically there was some back and forth between her and Say. Say has some feelings towards it. Obviously, we haven't heard Mary's side on it. I just want to remind people on this, that is between Mary and Say. So just send them both love. We can understand that feelings are going to be attached there, but don't send hate to the other one. Don't send hate to Say, don't send hate to Mary. Like, just clearing that up right now.
I agree with that. I agree, don't send hate to any players. How was this brought okay, Zans is catching me up a little bit. So was this in an interview?
Yes, it was in an interview, and it was whatever one of the interviews where it's all written down. So like there's a question asked and then they write down it. Yeah, transcript. I can try and find it. I'll find it.
Yeah, I'll look it up after. But Zans, I don't like the sound of that either. So
yeah.
Right.
Well,
I hope that they're able to resolve whatever it is between the two of them.
I hope so, especially for one of the things I found. First up, I know it has nothing to do with Survivor, but Stephanie and Thomas went to go see Charlie XCX, and I just love that they're like besties outside. And it was Stephanie's thing of like basically Purple Love. She was meant to be on the Purple Tribe. She's like, that's where my soul was with Thomas. So I just love that. Next up, we have this is all people will talk. If I have half of it is either Mary or half of it is this. Literally everyone had something to say about David standing up. It was hilarious. Obviously, you've got Justin there talking about 100 men versus a gorilla. Like, somebody tell this man to sit the F down. I'm trying so hard. We all knew Star. We knew you were trying not to laugh. Cedric's one was I was trying to figure it out, if that makes sense. I was like, I understood what he was saying, but I was also like, what is going on here, Cedric? This isn't. I would just say go read Cedric's Instagram if you want to read this fully. But yeah, it was a moment. I
get what he's saying. You know, I think about that a lot too. Like, how do these moments feel without any of the editing tricks?
Yeah,
that,
exactly. Like silence.
Feel a certain way.
No, you go.
No, you go.
You go. I was just gonna say to Minor Zach's point. I'm not gonna put it up, but unfortunately, Minor Zach, this happens every season. Like, we will do our best every single time to remind people not to send hate to anyone, to not send like death threats. It's a game for $1 million. You are watching an edited show, people. Like, this is not them in real life. We cannot like what happens in the game. Like, I've not been the biggest fan of Eva and Joe this episode, but that doesn't mean I'm going to send them any sort of hate. I will always send them love. So remember that. Like, remember that. And if you're not being that nice person, I'll call you out on Twitter. More of David. It was Say's. If I send you this in a text message, just know that I'm actively protesting something, or we just ran out of milk and we need to get.
You just ran out of milk.
I love it. And also this moment became so iconic that Survivor CBS Instagram account itself made it into a meme, and David reposted it. So well done, David. Yeah, you have become the meme of the week. Moving on, we were talking about Mary and Say earlier. I agree. Say, if the jury doesn't start serving looks soon, I will start roasting them. But this is where Mary says, yes, ma'am. Like, I have hope that Mary is going to serve looks on this jury.
Well, no, I agree with this. Especially because we were so spoiled with Australia that it's just like, Come on, dress it up, make it an event, do something.
I feel so bad for anyone currently on the jury of Survivor 48 and watches this podcast. Please know, we unfortunately just watched Australian Survivor, where if you look at the jury there, they were serving looks. Like, I did my interview with Logan, and we spent like 5 minutes just talking about the jury and the looks. Like,
yeah.
That's
it was great. But anyway, Zans, I like your suggestion of putting a pic of David I don't think we can put him in the corner of everything, but maybe we could do a thing where he pops up randomly at some points. I think that'd be fun.
We'll try.
Okay.
We'll try. Next up, we then have Camilla. I needed to showcase Camilla and her winning immunity because, like she said, like, this was this was something she didn't think was going to happen. She's just more upset that the way that she's won, it's just all ugly crying. But Camilla, regardless, you did the thing, girl, and we're very proud of you.
Camilla, I love the fact that it was ugly crying. You keep, it's good.
It was authentic. It was real. I agree with this. Sorry, I just need to bring up his. Yeah, I'd love to see Camilla win the Final Four challenge.
Chameleonaire.
A millionaire. I wouldn't be mad at it. And then we have the pre-jury. We could tell, like, basically, you could tell who the pre-merge were rooting for. Because as soon as I then watched the episode and then looked at social media, every single member of the pre-jury was just showing Mary so much love. This first one of Bianca I found absolutely hilarious because it just so happened that was occurring that day. And it was also the fact of, like, that photo that we got of the pre-jury before where they were all kind of in black being like, who's going to join us next? Like, Mary was there. Like, Mary knew. And I've got more of the pre-jury, so I'll just quickly show that up. You've got Stephanie showing her love, Kevin showing her love. You've got Thomas showing her love again, being like, I haven't seen David's standing up moment because I was too busy mourning the loss of Mary. Just Mary, regardless, the pre-mergers were rooting for you and love you. So remember that. And then we have Mary's goodbye things. It's the end one for me. Poking fun, me if eating all the coconuts was a job. The middle one, you can't see it. I'm glad that it can't be seen maybe that much, but everyone follows Mary. And the final one is today I'm serving can't. And I love that. And then just more of Mary. Like, Mary's memes this season have been hilarious. Like, I've loved Mary's post this season. I hope she continues it because it's just been so funny to watch. I love the surviving on coconuts and rage. Why? No.
Polls.
So, for anyone that doesn't know, we post polls on X on a Thursday. And we give the results here. So our first poll is coconut etiquette a thing on Survivor? Yes, manage them. Excuse to target someone? No, it's just a coconut or banana etiquette 2.0. Chat, let me know what one you would have voted for. Matthew, what one would you have voted for?
It's an excuse to target someone.
Fair. So that's where you're going. Do you think that's where the majority went?
I think most people would choose banana etiquette 2.0.
Okay. Well, I can reveal that 41% said no, it's just a coconut.
There.
Yeah. Zen's just put in the chat. Before banana etiquette, there was cherry etiquette. So I think banana etiquette 2.0 is missed. That's fair. I forgot about that. But Mary agrees as well, thinking that
Amy
banana
agrees.
etiquette 2.0. Yeah, of course. So the next poll that we have is, did you agree with Mary's decision to tell Joe she would vote for him? Yes, needed to be spooked. Didn't pay attention. He had a right to worry. Joe was cool and calm. What?
Didn't pay attention.
Didn't pay attention.
Actually, this is a good question. Before we reveal it, I was wondering, I don't think what I'm about to say would have made a difference, but like, Does anyone here believe that if she didn't tell him that she was voting for him, that it would have changed anything with the votes? Okay, yeah. I just had to throw it out there.
Yeah. I personally don't think so, because I think regardless, they were always going to target her. So I think she kind of knew that. So
yeah.
It was kind of one of those, if I'm going out, I'm going to do it Monica Padilla style and ruffle some feathers.
Do it with a boom. And maybe, maybe something weird happens with the votes as a result of getting in his head. And that could have possibly saved her. So I think, yes, he needed to be spooked. And honestly, it could have possibly worked out.
Yeah. So Isabel, she loved it. She loved it. So I think she would have voted for yes, needed to be spooked. So I can reveal that 81% said needed to be spooked. And I agree with that.
And
I agree with that.
Zan says, yeah, Mary was fine to do anything. I think it's something they press on them in their confessional. What will you do? Yeah, I think they do say, all right, you're in this position. Like, what do you need to do to get out of it?
Yeah. And I completely agree, Amy. He needed his feathers ruffled. So the final poll we have this episode is favorite moment of Tribal Council. David's death stares. David's muscles. David standing up. Other. Now I will say we didn't actually get any comments. I was hoping to get some comments, but we didn't. But yeah, Matthew, what would have your answer been, and why is it David's muscles?
It was David's muscles, because you know what? It made me keep watching.
Well, Zan is on muscles number one. Muscles number one. Or standing up.
Yeah, I think standing up is gonna get it, but yeah.
I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. 77%, said David standing up.
No muscles?
No muscles. So we know that you and Zans didn't vote in this poll. So if you want next time to have some votes there, you both need to vote in these polls.
Okay. Wait, so there were some people who put other leave a comment and no one left a comment?
Yeah, no one left
How dare they? I'm curious now.
I know, that's what I mean. I'm curious to know what the other moment was. But yes, those are the polls. That is it. That was all.
These are fun.
That was the tribe has posted.
Thank you, Ollie. All right. Well, that was episode 11. I mean, listen, how are we all doing with it? I think there's these last 2 weeks, I've heard a lot of disappointment in the way the episodes have paired out. I want to be clear. I think my disappointment is just purely from like television, like entertainment value. Nothing. Yeah. I think we can poke at some game strategy and stuff, especially for some people who need to flip the game. But it ends up being what it ends up being. And I think someone will win and others will lose. So we'll just see. Zanza wants to applaud you, Ollie, on the beautiful compilation. I agree.
I try.
Ollie, anything else that you want to close this out with?
No, just remember to send love to your favorites. And if you're not rooting for them, you have a right to not root for them. Don't be mean. Don't send any hate. That's all I got to say.
Yes, agree with that. Don't send any hate. I bet Phil can make a good compilation too.
We will
get right
him.
Back in there with the jab.
Ask him.
Minor Zach says, feel this endgame might be an interesting ending if Joe doesn't win. All right.
I agree with that.
We'll see. I mean, are we doing that thing this year with the part 1 finale, part 2 finale?
No, I don't think so. I think it is just. I don't know.
So next episode is just episode 12.
I think so, yeah, because they didn't say anything about part 1, part 2. I think they realized that it was pointless.
Well, everyone, you know how this works. We're going to end the stream right here for the day, but we will be back next Saturday to talk about episode 12 of Survivor 48. I was going to say episode 12 again. As always, we do have a bunch of stuff at Survivor Now podcast. If you watched Australian Survivor, Ollie and I have been doing some exit interviews with the castaways there. It was great talking to them. Great having you all in the live chat. Thank you so much for your contributions, whether you've been with us like Zan's for a while now and Amy and Roy, or if you're brand new to the chat, thank you so much for joining us. Chris, I saw you in there before. So have a great week, everyone, and we will see you back here to talk about next week's episode.